All right. What's up, everyone? My name's AJ Writes Crypto. Super excited to get into today's show. Got a bunch planned for you guys. It's Wednesday, October 2nd. What happened to this year? I really honestly don't tell you. Oh, I have my laptop going here. Amazing. So, I do want to start the show. First of all, shout out everybody to the chat. We got Challenge C Peppertooth, Mike Vollmer, Crypto Carter, Grateful Dad, Tim O'Donovan, everybody. Mike Lowry, French Toaster. Good to see you. Good to see you. Appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. So I have been working on a video that is a little bit different than anything I've ever done before. And it is called the Crypto Chronicles Part 2. And I don't even want to try to explain it, but it's different, the format of the video. And it's something I've been sitting on for a while. And I remember, I started the channel. The first video that went on this channel was October 25th last year. And that video was Crypto Chronicles. And it was kind of like, my introduction to my YouTube channel to try to give everybody like a background of who I am, where I came from, how I climbed, kind of my story, the beginning of my story. And part 2, at first I thought I was going to do part 2 right away. And then I realized that it didn't matter when I did part 2 because the people that were here would remember and the new people I gained along the way would go back and watch the first one. And so I decided I'm going to do part 2 on the 1-year anniversary of this channel on October 25th. I have most of it written, but I still have to film it. And it is, like I said, it's not a normal video. So y'all are going to get a kick out of it for sure. And I'm super excited. I wanted to give you guys the drop on that. So cool. Yesterday, Jada and I did something pretty cool. I don't think to talk about it, but I did tell some people. I'm just excited. It's so hard for me to keep a secret. I suck at keeping secrets. I'm good at poker, but I'm bad at secrets. All right. It's not a thing I like to do. So few of you might probably already know, but you'll be learning all about that pretty soon. All right. So already over 100 people in the house. Really appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for being here. Make sure you smash like, subscribe to the channel, all the things. All right. So let's start at the beginning here. Let's do a quick little overview of the market. I am aware that we started bouncing right before the show went live, and that is good to see. Really good to see. I do have my thoughts on the market. Obviously, we will get heavy into the TA section a little bit later in the show. Just going over markets really fast. Bitcoin 61.2, Ethereum 2,400, BNB 544, Solana 145 feels pretty cheap. XRP under 60 cents, Dogecoin under 11 feels pretty cheap. Cardano under 35, that's a steal. Avalanche under 26, that's a steal. Despite, I feel like every time, crypto gets a respectable pump, a lot of people start to feel the coin wasn't floating.
They were upset.
Oh, I bet they were upset. That's hilarious. Where are the lights?
It's gonna be hard to
oh, they're down there.
No, I already have them up.
Oh, they're white. That's why I was confused.
Only one of them is.
Anyway, I feel like anytime crypto pumps, people start to feel like, I missed out. Like kind of the feeling like, oh, I can't buy, what coin really pumped hard. SWI, all right. When SWI went from, 50, 60 cents to, $1.87, people start to feel like, oh no, I missed it. And I really don't want you guys to fall into this trap because sometimes, it is it hard to buy into a coin that, just absolutely ripped? Yes, it is. But even in the case of SWI, right? Just peeking at the 2-hour chart really fast, you do have, a bit of little divergences here playing out. It did, kind of dip down. It kind of hit 192, came down, touched the trend line 12% in 12 hours, and then bounced up off that trend line 10% in the past 18 hours. All right. But what happens with coins like SWI kind of reminds me of Solana, back when Solana had its big run up the hill, because obviously we're kind of coming down on the momentum wave. We are heavy in the green. There is, obviously an argument that could be made that SWE could roll over and kind of come back here. Like we discussed yesterday, if SWE really retest, it would be really nice for SWE to hold 144, 143. All right. So, but my point here is that overall, okay, if you didn't buy SWE here, this is for you. What I'm about to say is for you. 70 cents, up 146% in 30 days. Because this thing pumps so hard, it deters people away from buying it because they missed it. And I'm not, as much as I'm not saying to buy into a heavy pump, what I am saying is that now, like the whales, the VCs, like the people that really move the price, they know that you feel that way. All right. And so, when Solana went from, 8 to 16, from 16 to 24, from 24 to 32, from 32 to 48, even if you bought it at 48, you still would have more than doubled your money. You get my point. So what I'm saying is that they will use that psychology against you. Obviously, you don't want to buy into a face melting pump, but what I am saying, don't avoid a coin because you missed the first leg up, because they know that, and it'll just keep going, and you will just keep kicking yourself in the ass. So that is kind of something I wanted to touch on. I was having a conversation yesterday, and it's like, don't be scared of something just because it pumped. It's probably strong, if that makes sense. On AJ's 1-year show anniversary, can the spinning coin have a friend? Maybe I'll get a spinning floating Bitcoin moon. Maybe I'll put that on the other side. Amazing. They just said, Jada, you just saved the bull run. You just saved the bull run. I do appreciate all your help. All right, let's get back to where we were here. I do want to quickly take a glance at the gainers and the losers. Let me pull this up here really fast. All right, boom. So really, Wormhole separated itself from everything else. 27% pump, chilling around 37 cents. Mantra, Conflux, Popcat, SWE, Fast Token doesn't really count, but really Wormhole, the big winner today. And then the losers, we got Beams, Darknet, Lido, Arweave. I was surprised to see how hard Arweave fell, actually. It caught back up a little bit now. Notcoin, Render, Pepe, Gala, Jasmine, a lot of things really did take a big dip. And I think a handful of the altcoins really, I don't think people saw them getting hit as hard as they did. I think the altcoins got smashed a little bit harder than Bitcoin. And I think it's really important to, kind of make the distinction even between, a pump like the graph had, right? And now, the graph, so basically just to paint this picture, has this big giant downtrend, right? Let me get rid of some of this chart graffiti here. The graph has this big giant downtrend, all right? Finally breaks out and starts its new structure, okay? And this kind of represents a lot of coins, kind of got this higher lows, higher high type situation. So now we're really keeping a close eye on the graph. One, mandatory that it holds support resistance back here. In this case, it's at 15.3, and we really don't want to see the graph lose this trend line of the higher highs, this new bullish structure. We want to see the graph hold on to this bullish structure. But kind of look at the difference between like a coin that pumped like the graph and then a coin that pumped like SWE. We're talking two completely different structures here. And I really always want to remind people to, even if you're just DCAing a coin, I don't care if you're day trading, I don't care if you're DCAing, regardless of what you're doing with whatever coins you're experimenting with, I always want you to pay attention to two things: the structure and the strength. The structure and the strength. Because first of all, this thing is in a completely different stratosphere than the graph. Look at the graph. Look this way. You cannot treat these the same. You cannot trade these the same. You cannot approach, you get my point, right? And another thing is, I really want you to consider strength. All right. And by strength, that's fair to say Fibonacci. So let's go from the swing low back here, October 23, to the local high, All right, we're talking we're strong above the 236. All right, SWE is only 15% away from its all-time high or 2024 high. Okay, and now let's look at the graph. All right, let's come out here to the daily. It might be a little bit messy. I know you can't see it yet, but let me kind of get the gist here for you. Let me fix some of this chart graffiti. I need to go back and clear up my charts before every show because it gets messy. You better bring your broomsticks because it's a mess. All right, so Fibonacci go from, I guess, this swing low, the more recent one. All right. You get my point here, right? The graph is a much weaker coin than SWE. It's fighting, and that support resistance line that we kind of zoned in on right here is very, very close to the 786. This is a much weaker coin than SWE. All right. And now we're talking a 208% rip back to 2024 highs. All right. So, so you might be kind of scratching the back of your head and saying, hey, well, AJ, what are you trying to say here? What's the difference? The difference is if it depends on what you're trying to do, because if you're trying to, kind of get a more calculated pump, maybe a smaller calculated pump. I mean, I think we can all pretty much agree on the fact that the graph will certainly get back to its 2024 high at some point. All right. But the graph actually has a really interesting story compared to what SWE has. And I'll actually explain that for you right now. Because if you come over here to say CoinGecko, all right, come to the graph. All right. Look at its tokenomics. Circulating supply, 9.5 billion. Max supply, 10.7 billion. So when you look at a coin like the graph, you have to understand the story. Okay. Because back here at its 2021 high, well, this is 2021 here, November 21, all the way up there, $1.30 something. I actually thought it went higher than that. I'm going to go to Masari and double check that really fast. Masari. I really like using Masari for research, by the way, guys.
Every day I'm going to ask you a good question.
I will get to questions in a minute. GRT. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, the graph pumped in. That's why this chart, I knew there was something wrong there, because the graph's all-time high 274 February 12th 21, and this chart here begins in July of 21. I knew there was a piece missing there. Okay, I'm glad I figured that out. My point here is that you have to have, in coins like the graph that are weak, like this cycle weak, in terms of where it is the Fibonacci, where the 2024 high was, and where it's been before. Well, what you have to understand is that back when the graph hit that all-time high, 274 in February 12th, 2021, its tokenomics were, there was not 9.5 billion in the supply. In fact, I can actually tell you exactly, market snapshot right here, because you have to, my point I'm building to here, guys, is you really need to follow the story for each coin and understand where it's been, understand its strength, understand the circumstance, and realize, what is feasible here. So if you go to, February 7th, 2021, historical snapshot, this is what I used to look at, tokenomics, previous market cap, stuff like that. Okay, right here, 2021, February 21, right before the graph put in its all-time high. It's circulating supply right there, 1.2 billion. Oops, 1.2 billion in its supply when it put in that all-time high. All right, and now, like we said, the supply is 9.5 billion. All right, so when it put in its all-time high, 10% of the coins were in circulation, not even. And now, over 90% of the coin, just about 90% of the coins are in circulation. So the story for the graph is, okay, it's certainly probably not going to get back to its, $2, because this chart starts back here. We're talking over here, $2 all-time high. The likelihood of that happening is near impossible, considering that the supply went from what was the decimal, 1.2 billion to 9.5 billion. since 21 to now. So you do have to have a kind of an air of realism when the graph enters, when the graph puts in a new all-time high from right here. You have to treat this like a new phase of price discovery, because will previous levels come back into play here? Maybe $1.09 if it goes that far, 83 cents, even this one right here, 63 cents. Like, yeah, there are previous levels that we can kind of look at, right? But my point is that because the tokenomics, the environment has drastically changed, okay, you have to really be aware of the new phase of price discovery whenever the graph gets past that 2024 high. And my point here is that, okay, right now the graph is 200% away from its 2024 high. So now let's compare and contrast what we talked about with the graph to SWE. Okay, kind of a newer coin, a this cycle coin, right? And right now, circulating supply 2.7 billion out of that max supply of 10 billion. So the SWE now reminds me a lot of the graph back in 21. Very early in its vesting schedule, still has 83% of the supply to come back into circulation here. I mean, this thing has a long way, 73. This thing has a long way to go. And my point here is that be aware of that when with SWE, because the thing with SWE is that once it breaks, it goes 15% higher. It's 15% away from its 2024 high. And then it will be in a phase of price discovery. And it will be very hard to determine, okay, when is this thing going to stop? Where is this thing going to end? But I do feel that because SWE has so much institutional attention, that it kind of reminds me of Solana back in 21. It wouldn't surprise me to see SWE get to 5, 6. I will do a proper price prediction on SWE. It will come out this week, but I don't want to say my exact price prediction. But my point here is that once SWE locks in whatever that all-time high is this year, once it goes there, and then the rest of the vesting schedule happens, we go through a bear market, we get to the new bull market, it will probably be a lot like the graph. The graph is not going back to $3 because the supply went from 1.2 to 9 to 9 something, right? So I just want you guys to be really aware of the environment for each coin. And I don't want that to deter you from getting into SWE, but it will be a lot harder to follow a pump like SWE than it will be to follow a pump like the graph, especially because if this thing pumped 200% like the graph is going to, we're going to be really shy. But I also want you guys to kind of lean into that and kind of set your own numbers, set your own levels. A 200% pump for SWE, that'd be around 569, 570. So, it's tomatoes kind of thing. But basically what I'm saying is that if you want a more calculated pump, an easier pump to follow, a coin like the graph that's weaker and you have the 2024 high to target, it's a lot easier to monitor that situation. Where a coin like SWE, very early in the vesting schedule, it's only 15% away from its all-time high, but it has that institutional attention. It's probably going to have a Solana-like pump. So in those scenarios, when you're kind of in the unknown, make sure that you have your own personal level set. And I don't care if, say, I'm selling SWE at 7. If you sell at 7 and it goes to 20, don't kick yourself in the butt, because I don't really care if say I bought SWE now and I sell most of my bag at 7. I don't care if it goes to 80, because if my goal was 7, I'm making that money. That money is made. That money is locked in my pocket, buying houses, buying whatever. So it is super important.
Sounds weird.
My mic sounds weird. It's the same setting I run every single day. I don't know why it would be weird.
So you can hear yourself.
They're over there.
It sounds like it's pulling from like your computer, not from your mic.
Okay, let me change my
I can hear myself talking.
Okay. Mic, Zoom, audio. I changed it. All right, how about now? I changed it to the.
It's a little behind, so let me hear.
All right. Well, I can fix it. I didn't bring my headphones today, and I run the same settings every day. So some days it's just going to be weird. It's definitely not using the microphone on the computer, the settings have my microphone from this box right here, the Zoom Pod Track. So I use the same thing every day. I don't know why it would be any different today.
It's good enough. Just all your other sounds pick up really well.
Okay, it's all good. I do want to get a new interface, but I mean, I like the Roadcasters, but JChain's had a lot of problem with the Roadcasters, and Goody suggested the Zoom, and I have had luck with this thing. So because I like holding the microphone, Charlie. I like holding the microphone because I always like you ever watch Talladega Nights with Will Ferrell and he like doesn't know what to do with his hands? Like that's me if I'm not I like to hold things. And I could if this thing was just hanging here, I wouldn't I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I don't know. I like it. I like it the way it is. Okay. Every day I'll go. Are you talking about the Israel news?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. I did want to. The reason I went into the little rant I just did about comparing an old cycle coin to a new cycle coin, being aware of the environments, is because trading and even DCA hodling, right? People think that there is just like a blanket strategy in every scenario, something you can do every time that is just going to work. Like it's the magical solution that works every time. That's not really true. And I want you to think of crypto like if you're a war general, all right? And say you're going into battle. Like every battle has a different environment, a different battlefield, a different, you know what I mean? And you're not going to use the same strategy if you're, inside of a valley than the strategy you would use if you were out in the open field or in the forest or what have you. So my point here is that for each strategy, you need to know which strategy to use based off the environment you're in. And even if you're just DCA hodling a coin like SWE, you need to be very aware of your environment compared to an environment like the graph. There's coins that are older, that are far from their local targets, that have almost finished vesting schedules. And then there are new coins with institutional attention that have a long way to go that will probably still pump, but will be in a scenario like the graph 4 years from now. So you're not going to have the same strategy for both coins. And you shouldn't treat them the same once they both reach their own phase of price discovery. And I really kind of want to nail that home, because learning how to differentiate the environments has been something that helped me immensely as I really got into the rabbit hole of day trading and even just normally holding coins. At the end of the day, you need to really stick to the plan the whole time. And the plan the whole time is choose a goal, set your goal, keep yourself accountable to that goal, and don't fall in love. I've been saying that for years. Okay. Woof said, why do children think it's okay to give financial advice? I don't know. Why do children become millionaires? I don't know. Woof, bro.
33-year-old child.
Woof. 33-year-old kid. What can I say, bro? My bad, bro. You want to go play kickball? You want to go play soccer? Oh, that's great. Okay. I do have a bunch of stories, and the Israel question, I understand. I did not finish. Oh yeah, I'm on the wrong computer. I was totally tripping there. I was on my laptop looking for the tabs. I did pull a couple stories from Twitter. Okay, so I did pull this here from Lex Friedman. All right. The probability of World War III feels higher than ever. A global war would destroy humanity. I pray for with the wisdom of our leaders. And hey, man, I pretty solid blanket statement there. I really hope that doesn't happen. Obviously, I don't have like a hard stance on the either side. I feel like it's all just really polarizing, and honestly, I don't know anyone there, and I don't know anyone on the one side, and I don't know anyone on the other side, and all I know is that I treat all strangers with kindness and all strangers with respect, And it's really important to like, pray for this stuff, man. Focus on it, kind of every night, just kind of, give a shout to people who lost their families, who lost their lives. I mean, disaster, tragedy happens every day comes in all shapes and sizes. And in these situations, there are obviously market implications in a time of war. And we can discuss that, but on the surface, I just wish this didn't happen at all. And obviously I pray for everybody involved, man. It's it takes two to tango. It's probably both sides are wrong. You know what I mean? And when it really comes down to America's implications, I really feel like it all comes down to money for the American government. And that's and they're not really good at doing the whole money thing, in my opinion. So pretty sad. But honestly, in terms of war implications, what that means for the market, there's kind of like there's not that many modern examples you could really point to that would be like, oh, if this happened, that would happen. But basically, the general consensus is that the market would shake out heavily at first because people are trying to pay for the effort. People are trying to get out of their positions and to be, cash heavy for whatever reason, whether that's preparing for whatever. But eventually, war requires an immense amount of money, and war requires a phase of quantitative easing. So essentially, the money printer would get turned back on, and that would, over time, be strong for the markets, crypto included. But when that bakes in, when that doesn't bake in, how fast things happen. I always say that people are always right about their targets and they're always wrong about their timelines. Even like Ben with Valentine's Day 2,500 for Ethereum, like he was really wrong about that call. But guess what? Ethereum went to 2,500 a month later. So he was right about the target, but he was wrong about the timeline. And I feel like that a lot of the times is the case when you try to make predictions based off of, kind of macro black swans. I mean, honestly, if World War III was to break out, I don't know what else would be a black swan. I don't know. Hard to tell. So there's that. There is that. Steve Jones, hey, are you saying the graph won't pass ALH? He's saying all-time high? Because L and T are not next to each other on the keyboard. I don't think, dude, you have to understand what it would take for the graph to get back to that, the all-time high, February 21st, 274. Here, let me, Bitcoin perspective. GRT. This is my favorite place to do moon math, as most of you probably know. Okay. All right. So, and this is with the tokenomics as they are right now. So for the graph to return to that price, 274, that would, I mean, honestly, 26.2 billion, a 16x, that doesn't seem impossible. Really in crypto world, man, 26 billion isn't like that crazy, to be honest. I don't think it's impossible, but I also want you to understand that my point was, I know what my graph price prediction was, and the lower end of that range is below its previous all-time high. All right. I know. And you also have to understand that there's a difference between what you think a coin can do and what your personal target is. That's a very different thing. And I'm not in a position where I need a 10x. I'm not. I would, if I 10x'd my bags, I would be so uncomfortable going to sleep at night. Like, it would be actually ridiculous. I don't need that. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to hold on and buckle in and just ride that type of roller coaster. I get my 5-6, like I'm good. So and I understand, I know what my price prediction was, but I'm also saying that in the event that, graph goes back to even previous 2024 high, I mean, that's still 200%. That would be really good. Like really good. Like, guys, you don't just make 200%. Like, people treat crypto like it's just like this forever giving bank. Like, you know how ridiculous it is just to make 5% on your money? Like, people lose grasp on reality on what that is. Honestly, Graph, I mean, dude, Graph gets to $1, I'm probably gone for the most part. I'd probably sell it like at least 70% of my bag if the Graph went to $1. Yeah, at least. Yeah, for sure. I'd be set forever. Yeah, but yeah, man, it's not about what I think a coin can do. Everyone has their own personal journey in crypto. Let's put it that way. And I really get worried when I see people, especially in my community, that get stuck on what they think a coin can do. Because once you get a number printed in your head, unless it hits that number, you're not selling. And the consequence of that is you don't sell and make nothing. There has to be a line where you draw a line in the sand and say, I'm at least making this. At the very least, I do this. Most people don't have that mentality, and the kind of people feel like they need. Well, like, the market doesn't owe you anything. Like, you know what I mean? The market doesn't, people lose track of how hard it is to just make 5%. And I get crypto has created that environment, and that's why you're so willing and ready to throw your money at it. And that's a good thing, but it comes with a caveat. And that caveat is you better be careful and don't get carried away with your expectations. It will invariably get you in trouble. Man, I did just want to show this tweet. It has nothing to do with crypto, but it just freaked me out when I saw it this morning. That really kind of, what? Hope everyone liked pancakes. Help. And then spelling these things out where the first letter spells Beyonce kidnapped me. I heard that she's next. I heard, Diddy got clipped. Now it's time for Beyonce.
You watch it with this Beyonce fans. You might dig a hole.
I don't know. Yeah, I like her music. You know what I mean? I guess Sia was Destiny's Child. I don't know.
Michael Jackson did good music.
Yeah, Michael Jackson made great music. Like, damn, crazy. Moving forward, I know the vice presidential debate was last night. I didn't go that far. I kind of just watched Twitter. I didn't really feel like watching it, to be honest. I know I've heard JD, Vance speak before. I know he's good. I know that he was going to steamroll Walt and oh my God, Timmy. I can't with Timmy. I can't. Like, there are some people, like, when they speak, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going that way because I can't. And Timmy got wrecked, and I watched the clips on Twitter, and it is pretty cut and dry who won that debate. And basically, Walt's plan there was to make Vance seem crazy. To make the Trump ticket look dangerous. That was his goal, and he didn't come anywhere near that. Man. I saw this really funny meme that was like, it was like Obama, and it was like, I need a VP that's dumber than me, and it had a picture of Joe Biden, and then it said, I need a VP that's dumber than me, and it had Kamala, and then it says, I need a VP that's dumber than me, and it has Tampon Tim. So I love that that's his nickname, by the way. That's literally what people call him. Like, if you go through life and you're his age and that's your nickname, damn. And also, just saw the story today, half of U.S. voters back crypto policies. Well, where's the other half, and where can I kick them? Where's the slap in the face button on YouTube? I'd love to click it on the other half. And honestly, who are they asking? Like, you understand. Here's my thing about surveys, right? You realize surveys are from the data of the type of people who take surveys. You get that, right? So if you see a survey, it's all from people who take surveys. It's not accurate, because what normal person that's not at least 9.7% batshit crazy would be like, oh yeah, I want to spend my time taking a survey? No, doesn't count. The beehive coming for AJ. I hope they do. I will punch every bee in the face. Yeah, a new survey shows 50% of U.S. voters support pro-crypto policies, with Republicans slightly ahead, but Democrats gaining more cross-party support. And that kind of has been the the sentiment. I feel like, Republican or Democrat, everyone likes making a lot of money. I don't know why anyone with a normal brain on their head would be against crypto. It just gives normal people the power to become financially free. It just gives you the keys you've always looked for, gets you out of the 9-to-5 monotony, let you do what you want in your life. I don't know why anyone would want that to not be a thing. I mean, thank God, right? And it is good. It's good to see that listen. And this is how I see this story. Do I want the other half of voters to back crypto policies? Of course I do. But here's the thing. We got half now. Was it half 6 years ago? Was it half 3 years ago? You get my point? We've come a long way, and we will continue to climb that hill, climb that tree, whatever you want to call it. I did glance over this story, didn't fully read into it. Before I go into it, I do want to check the chat. I haven't looked at the chat in a hot second. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, all the things. French toaster plus 100. Well, where's the plus 100? Oh, the crazy eyes. Oh, he definitely does have some crazy eyes. AJ, did you sell anything last week? So I traded a little bit last week, but in terms of my HODL portfolio, I'm just holding it. I have had moments and times where I have jumped out and let the market fall and jump back in and jump out. And I've done that before. And honestly, I'm just at a point with my HODL portfolio that it's so much money and there's so much on the line that I am just trusting the bull market. So when the day trade charts move, I'm not touching that with my HODL portfolio. I am hodling my HODL portfolio. And honestly, I want most of the coins in there to be held for at least 1 year for tax reasons. So is there a bag that I play with? Yeah, but that's mostly my leverage trade bag. And I completely separate my leverage trade mindset from my day trade mindset. My leverage trade mindset from my, HODL for a year mindset. And I have played around in the past, jumping in and out with my HODL bags. But honestly, even if I know the market's going to fall, I shrug my shoulders and say, yeah, we'll be back. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? It's kind of one of those things. Like if I was in a different position, I might be playing it a little differently. But like when you're making money or generating income, you don't feel like as I offset what I lose in my HODL bags by my day trading for the most part. And I don't feel the need to optimize every dip, every up, every down with the bag I'm supposed to HODL. And I feel like a lot of people get in a lot of trouble trying to time the market with coins they're supposed to be holding. And trust me, at least in my situation for sure, when I hold something for at least a year, that long-term investment tax, that's going to make a difference. So that does have to be considered big time. You basically have to be outperforming what you're getting hit with taxes with a HODL bag, and that doesn't seem pragmatic to me. All right. Check in the chat. All right. It's Oktoberfest. Hooray. I do like October, mainly because I like going to haunted houses. I don't know what it is about haunted houses. I love them. And Jada has so much fun every time we go. You want to come on the channel and explain how much fun you have at haunted houses?
Not at all.
Okay, I'll stop. I'll stop. All right. So really quick, we do have 150 people on YouTube and 300 people on Twitter. Hey guys, thanks for being here. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I do have a couple other stories I want to get into really quick, but first, I did want to put some light on this. This is pretty cool. It's official. I have teamed up with Karate Combat. I do have a media partnership with Karate Combat, and I'm going to bring you exclusive behind the scenes content, fight highlights, and updates on the Karate token built on Hedera. Shout out to the H Barbarians. Much love to you guys. And to share my excitement with everybody, someone who likes this post right here, this tweet right here, is going to win $500 in karate. So I will copy and paste this in the chat. Oh, my chat's on the other screen. Jada, can you copy and paste that tweet into the chat for me? Thank you.
Wait, sorry, I was replying.
The Karate Combat tweet, copy and paste it into the chat because there's $500 on the line here, and I do like, you know, sharing when I land a big deal, when I you know, have things happen like this. I do like to give back to the fam, and I will have like merch giveaways and stuff. I have not announced. I have chosen the winners for the VeChain giveaway, the merch giveaway, and I have not announced the winners yet. And I am doing a VeChain space, I think this week, maybe early next week, where I will announce the winners for that one. The Glitter Queen did copy and paste this tweet here into the chat. If you want to get in on maybe winning $500, click this. I will close this giveaway probably Friday. So you do have a couple days to get over there and smash the like button on that. Pretty cool stuff. So where was I? Oh, yeah, this is pretty cool. Ripple gets Dubai license, expands in the UAE. And guys, this is just what you want to see, because I remember there was a point in time with the Ripple lawsuit and everything where Brad Garlinghouse said, you know what, if we lose the lawsuit, we'll just leave America. We'll just leave. I don't care. We'll leave. Whatever. And I kind of always vibe with that because it's really important. And guys, I can't stress this enough. In the day-to-day of normal life for us watching this show who live in America, we forget that crypto is like this vast global thing. It can't get unplugged. It can't, you know, get tampered with. You know, no government can say, like, you know what, like it's a global thing. And I've always have found solace in that. Like my mind has always been at ease because I'm just like, yeah, but that doesn't matter because it's global. And like a lot of the worries that gets thrown at you over crypto, you can probably answer with, yeah, well, it doesn't matter. It's global. And when I see stories like this, I'm just like, thank God that, because, you know, Ripple set up their regional headquarters in Dubai back in 2020. This has been a really common move. Dubai and crypto kind of go together like lamb and tuna fish. All right. Spaghetti and meatballs, whatever. Ripple secures in principle approval from Dubai regulators, boosting UAE operations, advancing global payment services. And guys, only more and more projects are going to do this. And it's just going to be more and more accessible all around the world. And these are just stories I love to see. They make me happy. Ripple in the news again here. Bitwise files a registration statement with the SEC for a spot XRP ETF. What? Let's read that again out loud and a little louder. Bitwise files a registration statement with the SEC for a spot XRP ETF. Let's go. We have a little clap gallery in the background here. And this, I could not be more excited. Bitwise said BNY will serve as the trust administrator, and that Coinbase Custody Trust Company LLC will be the custodian for the XRP ETF. Bitwise also asserted in its filing that XRP is not a security. It's not a security. It might not be a commodity, but it's not a security. So what is it? I don't know. I think it's a crypto, and it should be regulated like a crypto and not like something we used to define oranges in the 30s. Oh, yeah. Bitwise has filed a registration. It's not with the SEC for an exchange traded fund that would give investors exposure to the token XRP. In an S1 filing made on Wednesday, the crypto index fund manager said BNY would serve as the trust administrator and that Coinbase Custody Trust LLC would be the custodian. It said that already. And here's a little quote here from the firm. The trust investment objective is to seek to provide exposure to the value of XRP held by the trust, less the expenses of the trust's operations and other liabilities. Guys, this is amazing. And Ben and I, we had a Crypto Crossfire episode over what would be better, the XRP ETF or the Ripple IPO. And obviously the ETF would be a direct, push to XRP, and that wouldn't pump the market cap of Ripple, but it would pump the market cap of XRP because people would have accessibility to XRP. But guys, this is great. This is madness. This is madness. And I said I've been aware that this would happen. There was kind of the race of, okay, Ethereum got that one. So who's next, Solana or XRP? Well, guess what? Solana and XRP are both going to get one. Then what? Cardano, Avalanche, Chainlink, Algorand. There's a lot of lists, and will eventually there be a basket like they do traditionally in the stock market. And this is only going to increase accessibility. And as accessibility, more doors get opened for people to buy crypto. It's pretty convenient that these doors are opening at the same time the M2 money supply, the global money supply, as the world enters a phase of quantitative easing. The day-to-day, I can be bearish in the day-to-day. And I have my reasons. And I've been correct. And I've been wrong, But overall, it's impossible to not be bullish right now for the long term. If your bags aren't already packed, I hope you're packing them every week. I hope you're DCAing as consistently as you can. A consistent DCA, in my opinion, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong, especially now as the interest rates begin to get slashed. Now is a really good time to be in crypto. I saw this video on Twitter. Edward Snowden issues an unexpected Solana statement. Old Snowy came and dropped a bomb. Many might consider Solana a top functional crypto blockchain. However, a recent review from Edward Snowden, a former U.S. security intelligence officer turned crypto enthusiast, might change minds. Snowden believes Solana is centralized, he shared at the Token 49 event. I saw the video. It's everywhere on Twitter. Here it is right here. Basically making out a point that Solana is centralized. Speaking at a video conference, singled out Solana as one of the most hyped products in the industry today. He said Solana developers took on a very good technology and decided to centralize everything. As Edward Snowden noted, the motivation for doing this is to make everything faster and cheaper. However, he said the innovators behind this have achieved their aims with a concerning downside. All right. And the former CIA official said nobody uses Solana except for meme coins and scams. He believes that the model that Solana is running on will not make innovations emerge on the chain, as the emphasis on the minimum viable product, MVP, has been watered down. Man, this is super interesting. I highly suggest going to watch this little bit right here.
A lot of people,
you guys hear that?
I don't want to name names, but Solana are taking good.
He said, I don't want to name names, but Solana. That was great. Hold on.
A lot of people, and I don't want to name names, but Solana are taking good ideas, and they're just going, well, what if we just centralized everything? It'll be faster, it'll be more efficient, it'll be cheaper. And yeah, sure, it is. You're right. But nobody's using it, but for like meme coins and scams. Because if anybody puts anything significant on it, and then all the states begin moving towards it, it's going to be a system that has levers that people can simply just take from you. You have to be thinking for the adversarial case, as opposed to the convenient, easy, early case. I mean, that's uncomfortable for like a lot of these founder mode people who are like, oh no, we need the minimum viable product, this, that, and the other.
Wow. That's a pretty serious statement, because let's also think about this. Let's kind of think about it, right? Why do you think Solana has stood out as the coin for the venture capitalist, for the Wall Street money, for the big firms that put a lot, guys, Solana didn't get to $200 earlier this year from $8, not even 2 years before that. It went from 8 to 200 in a time I really wouldn't consider the full bull run. All right. Why is that? Why is it so institutionally attractive? You got a point, man. You got a point. At the same breath, does that mean I don't want exposure to that ecosystem? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is crypto. I don't care. I do not care. There was like the whole narrative, like, with XRP, people will always try to find like a way to discredit something, right? I've never cared. If a chart is hot, if there is money to be made, I have no qualms with it. And that is the way you kind of need to look at it in a calculated way like that. But in terms of the long term, I think he does have a point. Of course, no shade to Solana. I have Solana. I have coins in the Solana ecosystem. But regardless, I think he's right on this. But that still doesn't change my stance on Solana in terms of would I hold it or not. And that's super interesting. Speaking of Solana ecosystem, I did try to find more on why Wormhole was the standout gainer today. I actually want to see if it changed at all before I go into this in the gainers and losers here. Gainers, losers, top 100. DGen also up 137% on the base chain. That one has been making some waves there. Just outside the top 300 now. That one has been making some moves. But Wormhole still moving up 30%. And I really couldn't find much on why this was happening. It's not a coin that I hold. I actually might hold a couple thousand of it on PHEMEX. I'm not sure. I have to check. But there is a story that was actually from a couple days ago on why it was picking up. And basically there was a key development on September 20th. So, a while back, announcements showed Wormhole's growing influence in the crypto space. Securitize partnership. Securitize has chosen Wormhole as its official interoperability partner for all current and future tokenized assets. This partnership will enable the seamless movement of tokenized assets across different blockchain ecosystems, enhancing liquidity and accessibility for participants. They do have this new Era 3 upgrade, which was also on September 20th. And I scrolled through the Wormhole Twitter here, and, October 1st, is really a conversation about Wormhole Era 3, and there's really not that much more news on why this thing just randomly pumped 27%. But then you got to remember it's in the Solana ecosystem. And Oleg made a point in the chat here. Solana has experienced 11 outages in 3 years, which the community tends to brush off as normal. The foundation of how Solana is allegedly lied, manipulated, and fake key metrics. And man, I agree with you, man. People have very easily looked past that. And I mean, why do you think Algorand, when Stacy did her speech at Decipher in Barcelona, within the first 10 minutes of her being on stage, there's a big 0 on the screen behind her. And she said, you know what this is? You know what this means? 0 downtime. That's a flex. That's a big flex. And I think any project that can say that is a legitimate case to make. And at the same time, what does that say about Solana and the people that buy it and the whales and the institutions that invest in it if it shuts off and they don't care? Because it's a safe pick for them. Because it has that centralized nature to it. It's a safer bet. It's a safer bet. And that's because although we're moving, I feel like the real crypto folks that really kind of want to move towards the true nature of crypto, that like kind of cyberpunk, decentralized, completely self-sovereign, be your own bank, all those kind of ideas. People are so familiar with the way things are that even when there's something in crypto that reminds them of the before, it feels safer to them because it has those aspects. So it's obviously a lot of, it's a double-edged sword. And at the end of the day, I still hold Solana. I still hold coins in its ecosystem. But there is certainly something to be said about that moving forward.
Before it gets lost in the chat, will you look at Harley's question right above where I posted that Twitter link?
1 second. If you hold the graph for a year, then buy more, does that ruin the whole bag as far as the taxes, or is the 1%, or is the 1 year worth 20%, the new purchase worth 40? Okay, so yeah, so basically whatever amount of your bag that you hold for a year, that part of it is considered a longer term investment, and whatever you sell that's less than a year, say I bought $100,000 now and I hold that for a year, and I buy another $100,000 and sell it after 3 months. Yeah, those would be differentiated. Yes, for sure. To be fair, I hate talking on this live stream about crypto taxes because I will get on the horn with my guy who has done my taxes forever. He's done my taxes, and he will tell me exactly the truth, exactly what he's doing, exactly what I have to pay, exactly the things. And I will make a video and say, hey, my tax guy said, and then the comments will be like, you're wrong, you know nothing, who lets a child talk about crypto, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, all right, well, that's what my guy did. Okay, like, and there's a reason I hire a guy. There's a point to it where I don't have the answers for the crypto taxes, and even if I get the answers from the person who does my taxes, that's still not good enough for crypto YouTube. So I'm gonna leave that right there. All right. No, you don't know much, kid. Well, that's fine. That's fine.
I think that sounds picking up for him.
Oh, because of people talking in the background?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Is that Mr. X? No. I got you, Harley. No problem. Do we see? Okay, I don't really have time to go over as many charts as I wanted to today. I did just kind of want to talk about Bitcoin here for a minute. And, we, I don't know much, but I did call that this was going to lose its uptrend on average 23 days, and it broke down on day 23. But what do I know? I just do crypto for a living. But it's okay. So right now, like I said yesterday, it's really important that Bitcoin holds this level at 60,600. All right. It's actually 60,641. Okay. And why is that? Well, first of all, look at where it already bounced off, not once, but twice. This is literally the chart telling you, hello, I'm an important level. We're important. Let's be an important level. And obviously, considering it bounced off this level twice, you need to zone in on this level and set an alarm at that level and be able to react to that level. We don't really have like a solid case of bullish divergence to lean on. We did go pretty, you guys can't see it. We did go pretty far, heavy down in the momentum wave. We are kind of switching from the red to the green, kind of changing colors on the RSI. We did have a slight bounce from the most recent wick up to this, 2% in the past 2 hours. And that is good to see, kind of moving to the 12-minute chart here. Slightly higher low, double bottom type formation. And so now if you wanted to get really nifty in the immediate range, where we were rejected from right here, obviously is an important level, as it was the floor. There was a fight. We got rejected twice, and then we bounced off this level twice. So if you really wanted to get nifty, you could consider this as a conditional range. This is a tactic that I kind of made up in my own mind that I have used to make a lot of money. And so basically you would alarm here, and also be aware of the rest of the environment. So if in the event this alarm goes off at 60,646, you would check the alarm, make a case for confluence, and make a case to short or to not short. This alarm goes off, you check for confluence, check the environment, and make a case on why you could go long or not go long. Because if the truth is that if Bitcoin is ranging which it has since it entered right here. Bitcoin has ranged in this, kind of 2% gap here for 20 hours. So in the event it leaves this box, that would be something significant that hasn't happened in like a day, and you can react to that move. All right, that is how I prefer to trade the market, because I'm not guessing, I am reacting, just like how I react to this here, big short there, 6.5% a day in 20 hours, not bad. Also, be aware of kind of the downtrends themselves. How when we made this chart, right? I'll even get rid of the market cipher here for a minute. We made this chart. You got to be aware of the environment, and each environment has a different battle strategy. Oh, I did not mean to click that. Okay, so I'll even get rid of the volume profile because it's kind of irrelevant right now. Bang, 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 bang. All right, so each downtrend, so top bottom here, 9 days, top bottom there, 11 days, top bottom there, or that was a longer one, 26 days, top bottom here, 8 days. So we've had 9, 9, 26, 8, about 19. So, kind of like a 13-day average, 14-day average, maybe a little less. I could get the exact decimal if you'd like. But I do like to, it doesn't completely, like, you can't use like these ups and downs, these waves, right? You can't use like that average to call the exact day it will turn up or down every time. But to be fair, it worked for that break. I called that literally to the day. All right. So you just have to be aware of the environment. We're in a bull flag. The operation of this bull flag is to eventually break up and out. We have to break this bull flag. And once we break it, we have to break the previous all-time high. Once Bitcoin gets to right here, that's when we can have a conversation about going to the moon, October 10x, Lamborghini Cybertrucks. Okay. But until, but in the meantime, I'd certainly be aware of this local downtrend. Even if it breaks and gets rejected, it's still relevant. And also be aware of the local support resistance levels. And it's not like this level here hasn't, like, for example, this level that I set, that alarm right there that I told you about, that upper alarm. Look how many times this level has been fought over. Look at this. When a price keeps coming back to a level time and time again, you just have to notice the pattern. And then you have to realize, okay, this is obviously a level to react to. And both of these levels, 60,000, I'm going to say 6197, so almost 62,000, and 60,600, 60,643 actually. These are two crucial levels with a downtrend. And also, we have started a new kind of ascending pennant wedge type triangle right here, because Bitcoin finally put in higher highs and higher lows. So while Bitcoin ranges inside of the bull flag, Bitcoin is also ranging inside of this pennant thing inside of the bull flag. And we're going to react to the break loss of this, to the break of this, to the break of this, to the break of this. Because ultimately, when you're reacting to the market and you're day trading with the strategy that I employ, that I have used to make, an unfathomable amount of money, essentially, this doesn't matter. The break of it does. And once you get that through your head and you stop trying to force trades, that's when we start making some real money. All right. So I am going to leave it there today. Oh, I got a super chat. Okay. Yeah, definitely hire a CPA, French Toaster. I am with you on that. Oh, right, Tristan Gage. I was in a high leverage 5K trade with Bitcoin. My liquidation price was 60,200, and it spiked down and touched it, and it hasn't been back down since that. So that was great. Okay, so okay. All right, Tristan Gage. Well, you're telling me that you were in 5K is not that much. Regardless, you were in a high leverage trade that was risky without a stop loss. You got liquidated, regardless of, guys, That's what the market does. If there's like liquidity down here, it will go down there and grab it and claw its way. That's what it does. It's designed to do that. But you like can't get mad if you didn't implement proper risk management. And this is what I tell my Telegram group. I don't care if you get stopped out 10 times out of 10. Did you get liquidated? Did you get demolished? Did you lose your bag? No, you didn't. You got stopped out. I don't care about getting stopped out. I don't care if you guys lose 5%, 6%, 6%, 4%, 8%, 4%. I don't care. When you're getting stopped out, you know what you're not getting? Liquidated. And Tristan, I know you've been around this channel for a while. You've been here for a while, and I got a lot of respect for your grind. I know you've been trying to trade. I know you've been trying to learn. But Tristan, you have been here for too long to not trade with a stop loss, bro. You've been here for too long to not trade with a stop loss, dude. You dropped the ball on that one, man. You did. And you're too good of a trader for that, because I've seen you win trades before, and you know better. You do. You know, life lessons learned the hard way, and you pay for your mistakes in crypto. You pay for your mistakes. I've been in crypto for a long time now, and I've paid for a lot of mistakes. And the reason I do this show and I do my Telegram group and I do the things that I do is because I don't want you guys to make the mistakes that I've made, because I've paid for a lot of mistakes, a whole lot of mistakes, like dumb shit, lost money, big time, more than 5K. All right. You know, and so the weird thing is that I had a stop loss on, but when it got there, it was way past my stop loss, and it was saying it partially filled for some reason. I mean, sometimes that does happen when you have a stop and it runs through your stop. But this is why it's always important to have a feel for the order book itself and to know where there is money in the book. Because like, if there's a big gap in the order book, like how are you going to know? You know what I mean? And it's like, this just happens sometimes, man. And to be honest, it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't a high leverage trade. Like, what do you mean by high leverage? 20, 50? Because if it was 10x, your stop would have been fine. I trade with 10x all the time, and I've never had a stop loss get disrespected at 10x. Yeah, heat maps are king. That's a fact. I had a heat map pulled up on wait, where's my heat map? I'll do it tomorrow. I'm already over on the show. It's on my other computer. That's fine. But I will certainly go over that tomorrow. And it's crazy to Keysby says crazy to have your liquidation sitting at 60,000. I mean, you must have been jacked up on that leverage. You know what I mean? And that's risky, man. That's the dice you roll when you're going to leverage up like that. Like, basically, when you're leveraging up like that, you're saying to yourself, okay, like, I'm okay if I lose this money. If I lose this money, it's fine. When you go in the leverage that heavy, you have to be completely okay with that outcome. That is just what happens. Have I tinkered with 20x, 17x leverage? Come on, guys. I went on a book tour with BitBoy. I know all about too much leverage. All right. But the truth here is that if you can find, first of all, if you're not really good at trading 3x, what are you doing trading 10? You need to be extremely consistent at 3x. And then you can move to 5. And then you can move to 7. And then you can work your way up the hill. Or you're basically just gambling. And a lot of times I'm like 5x. Yeah, I don't always trade 10. It really depends on my degree of confidence. So, man, I'm sorry that happened, but too much leverage, brother. 50x. Okay. Because Tristan, with 50x leverage, there wasn't enough liquidity at your stop loss to get your position out. You know what I mean? Like, that's why. That's why you got liquidated, because there wasn't enough money where your stop loss was, because you were at 50x. That's, hey, life lesson, learn the hard way. Mike J, Coin Glass, man. Coin Glass. Here, I was going to sign off, but I'll just I have looked at a handful of different heat maps, to be fair. But this has been the one I've always liked on CoinGlass. And it even has, the pair, the symbol, 24-hour. You can kind of zoom out to like 1 week and kind of get a feel for, the larger levels. Is certainly a really good a site to use, especially for different time frames. And the more you zoom out and stuff like that, like looking at the past month right here, does kind of show a lot of heat down on the downside. You can even come out to the yearly chart and kind of see that there's also a lot going on up top here, just as much as there's stuff going down 33. It gets a little warm around 47. And to be fair, when you actually, let me get rid of all the shark graffiti here. When you come out and look at the Bitcoin chart itself, understand that say we lose this little ascending pennant type triangle formation and we came down to the bottom of the bull flag, we could come to the bottom of the bull flag and be at $50,000. And to be honest, we could even wick back down here. I mean, our local low since all-time highs is 48,000. We could even wick there again and still come in the bull flag. Like we did it right here, but we kind of ignore it and we're still in the bull flag, right? So, I mean, Bitcoin really technically could get into the very high 40s and still be in the bull flag. So, yeah, man, I wouldn't be surprised for Bitcoin to, I would really like to see Bitcoin hold this level. I will react to Bitcoin losing the level 60,600. In the event it falls through that level, we have like 57,000 right here, which has been, kind of across the floor, a pretty strong level right there. Let me get rid of that. See how Bitcoin has kind of picked up its feet right here. That's a pretty good level to hold. And the problem is once you lose that level, that's kind of when you start looking at the rest of this bottom range here. So really you want to be in the range we're in now between 61.9 and 60,600, and then big target at 57.2. And hopefully we don't come down to the bottom of this little triangle, which would be in the 54. So I am going to keep a close eye on this triangle. Hopefully we can do something like this and eventually break out before the end of the year. That would be my hope. Okay, I keep trying to leave the show, and Jada keeps asking me to answer questions.
Okay, the chat one has questions.
I know, but I don't answer every question, just like I don't respond to every Instagram message.
Okay. Just to
I Clay the Great. I had a free Lux algo for years, and I like market cipher. It's that simple. Yeah, Tristan, you definitely have balls for going 50x. What who?
MF and ALJR. The last three.
AJ, for portfolio review, I do use.
You just give them a refresher on how to.
I do. Oh, do I use? Okay. Do I use % of investment price or % of current price? Because those are drastically different. Most time, MF people give me the breakdown of what their portfolio is today, and if something. Like say you had an even distribution before, and then a coin like Jasmine, for instance, it was 20%, but now it's 35. You can note that Jasmine became 35%, because that it does change things a little bit. So if there's a big mover in your portfolio, note that it became what it is today. But I always want the numbers that you have today. And I want percentages. So you can say this is a $30,000 portfolio, 10% Jasmine, 10% Algorand, 10% Vici. You get my point. Don't give me the amount, how many coins you have. ALJR, AJ, what are the yellow circles on market cipher B? Okay, well, these yellow circles AJ just drew on the chart because he likes to make a mess everywhere he goes. So these are on market cipher B. Okay, so the blue moves here are the momentum waves, kind of like an RSI, right? And the yellow dot kind of represents that we're at the bottom of this momentum wave. Okay, so when you see like right here, you see how we printed this, that's basically saying it's going to start coming this way now, that the momentum is shifting. That like we're at the top of this range. And now, oh, you guys can't see that one. Like we're at the top of this range here on the yellow dot, and now we are going to come up this way. All right. And also, the thickness of the white line here really matters a lot for like bullish continuation as it comes down the hill. Like, you know, if you can find examples where the bluer line is like thinner, like right here is like kind of super thin. Yeah, that matters in like momentum and like how long things will last. Obviously, the green to the red is the money flow, like money coming in, money going out. The yellow waves are the VWAP. All right. I have played around with some VWAP strategies, but they're not really my favorite. I know Flopping Groper has a Crypto Face's brother has a whole big theory on VWAP. I've never really needed to use it, to be honest. It's not my favorite thing. It's necessary, and it's kind of just like, I don't know. What it does for me is that it complements the momentum waves. You know what I mean? I do appreciate it being there, but out of everything here, the VWAP is the thing I look at the least, because the most important things to me are the RSIs, which is like a normal RSI, like you'd have normally. And it even has, 100. And then this right here would be like the 50 line on the RSI, just like on any other RSI, like right here, a bounce on the 50 line, bullish continuation. And the RSIs even change color, which is pretty cool too, kind of like when things start to flip the other way. But the main takeaways for me on Market Cipher B are the depth of the momentum waves themselves. Like, how far down is this coming? Like this coming down this far means the move up will be a lot stronger than coming down this far. Obviously the green dots for the for when the momentum is going to shift back. And certainly I'm always searching for divergences or hidden divergences or exaggerated divergences. Divergence trading is certainly the way to go, especially when you're trading pivots, when you're scalping reversals. That's really where my wheelhouse and my specialty is. And like I said, guys, you're going to have a different battle. You're going to have a different strategy for every battle. That's bottom line of if you're day trading or if you're in a war, different strategy for every battle. But if you're really good at one strategy and you can wait for that event to come, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. If you got a mean jab, stick with your jab. Don't get all fancy. So I do appreciate each and every one of you. I am going to get out of here. I went way longer than I wanted to today, but you guys have questions and I like answering them. So my name is AJ Rich Crypto. Save the rest of your day. Get rich or get wrecked. Peace and love, everybody.